All right, guys, how's it going? So, as you know, I review the Spanish football dailies every day for this channel, primarily, to see if there's anything to do with Liverpool, former Liverpool players or potential Liverpool targets or, players that they might have their eyes on, Spanish clubs, from Anfield. I also record a daily briefing for Golazo España, which is a new YouTube channel of mine. The link is in the video description, and it will pop up on the screen at the end of the video if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about, what's being reported in Spain. But when I was reviewing the papers in the cafe this morning, I noticed a piece which was in Sport, which is the pro-Barcelona newspaper, if you like, the Sport and Mundo Deportivo. Sport's the one that's been covering all the Diaz stuff. Some of you that watch these videos will recall right in the turn of the new year, they had that sit-down interview with Deco, the sporting director at Barcelona, 6-page spread and all the Diaz stuff and everything. And it's no secret that Barcelona want him, and that he wants them, right? But remember, Barcelona's financial situation, it was a problem last summer, so they couldn't make anything happen. Eventually, they went back to what's called the 1-1 rule in Spain, where for every euro you spend, you must have a euro in your accounting, right? So if you want to buy Luis Diaz at 60 million euros, then you've got to have 60 million euros coming to your account through, it doesn't have to be through a player sale, right? And obviously, if his contract's 10 million, 20 million, that has to go on top of that 60 as well. And it's 1-1, right? But recently, Barca they've gone back to that 1-1 rule. Barca were caught fiddling there was an administration error. And a large sum of money that they said had come in through the accounts apparently hadn't come in. So they've now been stripped of that 1-1 rule, and they're now here in Spain, in La Liga, in what's called a 1-4 rule, right? Which means basically that if they wanted to sign Luis Diaz, let's say around, 60, 70, 80, whatever, 60, 70 million euros with the contracts and everything, instead of getting that amount in, they'd have to get 175 million euros in to be allowed to spend that, say, 60, 70, whatever. Do you get me drift? So they've got to get a lot more in, and they're in the shit, basically, because of that. However, I'm sure, I can't remember from, my memory's terrible, but I think there's another review of this at the end of June. So they could get it back, but right now, they virtually can't do anything unless they sell a lot of players or something, I think, or get some cash in and get this 1-1 rule back. So Barca have continually, Sport have continually touched on him, and they mention him again today, which kind of, for me, it isn't an article saying that they're going to sign him or they've come up with a solution or anything, but it's still steady reporting, like they're still keeping his name up there, out there with Barcelona. Not mentioning anybody else, and just talking about him. And what it said is as follows. It was in Sport, as I say, today. Luis Diaz, a pillar at Liverpool. The Colombian was the second most important attacking figure after Salah, is the tag with it. Luis Diaz went from being a super sub and a candidate to leave to an undisputed starter under Slot, to the point where the Premier League title wouldn't be understandable without his contribution. With 33 league appearances, 12 goals and 5 assists, Luis ranks at the second most offensively productive player in the team, only behind Salah, with whom he has formed a lethal attacking duo. Mane's departure to Bayern in the summer of 2022 confirmed him as the owner of the left wing. Under Klopp, he ended up being a key player, although his rise contrasted with the Germans' domestic and European stumbles in England. Together, they won 2 League Cups, a Super Cup and an FA Cup, but none of those trophies compared to the Premier League title he now holds just 1 season into Slot's reign. The Dutchman holds him in high regard, and rightly so. In total, he has been involved in 21 goals this season, and that's despite all the talk at the start of the campaign about his possible departure. The arrival of the new coach, a compatriot of Cody Gakpo, suggested that the Colombian would return to the bench to make way for a winger signed from PSV. There was even talk of a potential transfer, with Barcelona listed as one of the interested parties. But the coach turned it all around. He transformed Lucho into a mobile forward, took advantage of Darwin Núñez's dip in form, and combined with them both in attack and with Salah. So, what is that article about? I want you to think about that. What is that article about? Is that an article to ease pressure or like lower expectations? Like, the fans have been fed for ages, we're going to go for Luis Diaz. But if they can't, is this an article saying, oh, he's doing ever so well at Liverpool? It'd be impossible to prize him away. Nothing to do with our finances. Is it that? That's a possibility. Or is it bigging people up to say, like, we're going to try and sign this player. We want you to know how much of a coup this would be, how great this would be if we signed him because he's doing ever so well for Liverpool and they'd never let him leave, but we fucking got him. Do you see my point? There's a reason for this article. I don't know what the reason is. They mention Barcelona being listed as one of the interested parties. Nobody credible has suggested anything other than Barcelona and Saudi. Anyone can link Saudi. His own camp could be linking him with Saudi to try and get interest, a better deal. I don't know what you think about. I think a lot of people probably wouldn't want him to go now. But people talk about him going to maybe, I've seen weak speculation of other clubs. But if he was to go to one of these clubs, he would be closing a door on his dream move to Barcelona, which I think he wants. See my point? Now, I don't know what you guys think with regards this this article, the reason for it. You could turn around and say, why does there have to be a reason all the time? Well, it's just an article. Yeah, but it's in sport, a paper that writes about him all the time. Well, not all the time. That's an exaggeration. It's starting to sound like those Twitter twats, but consistently. They don't have to write about him. They're basically telling you about a random player. They make it sound like he's never been a serious target because it's just, he's been mentioned with Barcelona, listed as one of the interested parties, But they're telling you how good he is. So is it because they're going to say, well, we can't get him, for the reasons I've given? Or is it because if they do get him, they can go, what a fucking, we're geniuses, as we can fucking attract anyone? Do you get my drift? I think it's an important one. I think all the videos today that I've done based on the football coverage here, oh shit, I forgot about the time. I'm going live at 1 o'clock UK on here. I just wondered if I'd passed the time. My only live stream today is at 1 o'clock UK. If you want to come along, just come to this channel. I think the Trent Alexander-Arnold video today about this, very significant in my opinion, new information, new claims, shall we say. Zubimendi, very interesting again, if you're interested in what's going to happen with him. And that one's just, I don't know. I can't get my head around that one. So I look forward to you giving me some opinion as to what you think might be going on there. But like me, you may be like, don't know, don't care. Maybe you just don't give a shit. Don't know. But I'll leave it with you. If you like this video, if you appreciate the video, if you like me reviewing what they're claiming, please do thumbs up the video. We don't take what they say as gospel, guys. But I think it's really important to have the other angle, especially when it's concerning Liverpool, like this. Like we've got Joyce telling us one thing and Ornstein telling us another, but then we've got some really shit-hot journos over, in Madrid saying, when they were trying to sign him in January, what Liverpool's opinion versus their opinion, and it's like, I like to compare and see, do you know what I mean? So anyway, that's it. Please, if you appreciate the video, thumbs up the video. Drop me a comment as to what you think about this article. It's just a little bit random, I thought. And if you want to buy me a beer, but I'm not having a beer until Sunday, I'm going to be honest with you. Unless I have a stream on here on Friday night. Or a coffee. I go to the cafe every morning, and you guys that support me, my channel, enable me to do this for you, to pay for these subscriptions, my channel members, the people that do support me, that are able to support me. But you know what supports me? You taking the time to comment and to, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, someone appreciates what I do. All right, guys, I'll leave it with you. Live stream at 1 o'clock on here today. Please read the video description, for my other channels. I do update those as well each day. My personal one is like Cop Talk 2, really. I talk about Liverpool stuff on there. Come across, subscribe. You're very welcome. And I've got more for you today. So I'll get off and crack on with it. And yeah, seen a bit. All right.